All right, let's get going. Good evening, everybody. I hope everybody's doing well. I am literally ripping and running, and that's for real. Um, I did not even eat dinner today. It has been a very busy day, but I'm glad to be here, and I hope you guys are doing well. So, typically, lives for me are on Thursday. General public lives are on Thursday. Subscriber lives are on um, subscriber lives are on Mondays. But since tomorrow is Thanksgiving, and hopefully most of everyone will be spending it with your loved ones, I wanted to do it tonight and do what I do once a week or once a month, and that is offer um, a session called Ask Me Anything. It gives you the opportunity to come on the screen and ask your question, uh, and um, and we try to work through a solution. Now, it is pre-Thanksgiving, and a lot of people are busy and cooking and all kinds of things. And so I don't want the show to be very long. If you're going to jump on tonight, please make sure we're going to try to keep each call to 10 minutes or less. All right. That's between you describing what's going on and me trying to give you some feedback. All right. So 10 minutes or less. And I would appreciate that tremendously. I'm going to post in the comment section. I can't do it on TikTok. TikTok, if you want to join the show, I'm going to ask one of our moderators to grab that link and post it. But I'm going to post in the comment section the link if you want to join the show. There are already people backstage waiting to come on. Before we get into that, go ahead and drop your city, state, or country if you're not from America, as we always do. And we're going to get started in a few moments here. All right, where you all tuned in from? You all know the drill, and I didn't even say that at first. I just kind of got into it tonight. Um, and we're going to try our best not to be very long tonight. All right, where you tune in? Chicago, thank you so much. Atlanta, of course. New York, New Jersey, Goldsboro, North Carolina. Thank you, Brooklyn, Connecticut. Appreciate you. Vegas, Texas, Massachusetts, Compton. All right, thanks so much. California again, San Diego, North Carolina again, Baltimore, Brooklyn, Connecticut, Maryland, Puerto Rico. Thank you so much. Mount Holly, North Carolina, Florida, Maryland, Baltimore again, Lafayette. Thank you all so much. Good. Arizona, DMV, Washington State. Had a great time at the DMV this past weekend. Richmond, Greensboro. Thank you so much. Toronto, Canada. Florida. Appreciate you. Ohio, Texas, California, Switzerland. Appreciate you. Richmond. Good. Cleveland, Ohio. Thank you so much. Really good mix tonight. And you all share where you're tuned in from, and then like the video and share the video, and maybe we can get more people on tonight. Grab your journals if you haven't already. Thank you. Jamaica, Boston, Georgia, Newark, New Jersey, Plainsboro, New Jersey. Wow, New Jersey's heavy tonight. North Carolina's heavy tonight. Louisiana, California, Turks and Caicos. Thank you so much. I wish I was with you for sure. Chicago, appreciate you. Um, Good. Connecticut, Missouri. I appreciate you. We got Missouri on the line. Kansas, Milwaukee, New York City, Orlando, Alabama, Huntsville, Alabama, the DMV again, Michigan, Rhode Island, California. Thank you, Kylene, Killeen, Texas. I hope I said that right. Happy Thanksgiving, Coach Sean. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you for your grace this week. I surely needed it. Maryland, North Carolina, Kansas, Toronto. Appreciate you still winning. Um, all right, New Jersey, Central Pennsylvania, Milwaukee. I'm already being filtered on TikTok. I don't know what that's about. Go figure. Pennsylvania. Um, had another video go viral on TikTok, and I'm being shadow banned and still going viral. It's funny. Horn Lake, Mississippi, Pennsylvania, South Carolina. Good. Yes, happy Thanksgiving to everyone. Um, particularly those that do celebrate that holiday. And just grateful. Where am I? Where am I? Just grateful to be on with you all tonight. Springfield, Illinois, Statesboro, Georgia. No, it's not too late to join. The link is in the chat area. I'll just keep reposting it. You're gonna have to come out of whatever app you're on, unless you have multiple devices, and you can join that way. Hopefully, our moderators can put the link into TikTok. There's no telling with TikTok, so I apologize in advance. Hey, Gabriella, thank you so much. Yeah, they can't cancel me because they definitely didn't send me. We've talked about that for sure, and y'all know I believe in that. All right. Give me 1 second here. Um, 1 second here. All right. Sorry, I need to send something really quickly here. All right, so let's get into it. Yeah, that's why you don't see me on TikTok. They definitely have me shadow banned for whatever crazy reason. Um, so let's talk a little bit about the rules for those of you that have never tuned into um, Ask Me Anything. Hey, April, I see April's on TikTok. I don't know if they're showing that comment, April. I know we're being watched. It's just wild. TikTok is just really trash. Y'all know I'm brutally honest. It's just really trash, and that's what it is. But I'll talk a little bit about the rules for tonight in just a second. The link to join is in the comments. We already have people in the waiting room. Once the waiting room is full, you cannot jump in. You have to wait for someone to be out, removed from the room, and finished. And so if you can't get in, just continue to try the link. Let me mention to you, tomorrow's a very big day. Very, very big day. Um, it is Thanksgiving, but calendar, my calendar goes live for new clients tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Set your timer. I'm telling you now, the slots that I have a few individual slots for individuals and couples. And when I say individual, I mean one-time sessions. And I have more packages available just because my workload is really, really heavy and not a lot. And they always leave really fast. So set your timer, set a reminder to check the website. I would probably start around 12:50 p.m. ish or so that if you're interested in doing some work together, you can secure one of those spots. And I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a lot of fun. I've got a lot of clients that have moved on that are doing really well, that have, you know, made tremendous progress and have healed and gone on and doing great things. And so that's always a good thing. So you'll see a post tomorrow as a reminder. It should come up around 12:50-ish on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. And I'll get Coach to put it on YouTube as well. And as soon as you see that, if you haven't set your reminder, go on and click on the links and sign up for one of those sessions if you want to become a client, because they're going to go by really, really fast. All right. I'm just telling you now. And just want to make sure that you set that reminder. Also, tomorrow, same time, my hat line is releasing. Really excited about that. It's really releasing. You're not going to find pricing about anything because the links have been removed. I don't just randomly leave it out there. Everything will be available tomorrow at 1 p.m. But the hat line is releasing tomorrow as well. I have 3 styles that are coming out that I'm piloting, and I love them, if I'm being honest. And I only have a limited amount of the hats on purpose, because I don't want to have a lot of the amounts of the hats out. They are exclusive, and so the beanies are here finally. And so make sure you check that out tomorrow, same time, 1 p.m. Tomorrow as well, and that'll all be on the same kind of flyer slideshow, and it's going to be great. All right, and you can do that while you're eating and enjoying your family and doing all of that stuff. I've got more announcements. I'll talk about it later. Thanks to all of you that have supported the pre-orders for the books. They're almost out. They probably won't make it through the weekend. So I've got a few more pre-order copies for that, as well as the Value System e-workbook. Many of you have tapped into that as well. I'll get more into some other stuff at the end. I want to get right into this. You already know the drill. If you don't have your journal, grab your journal. Let me tell you why this is important, because tonight almost kind of reminds me of group work. When I do group sessions, small group sessions, 8 to 10 people, people are shocked to be on a line with other people and hear their problems and hear how similar their problems are to your own problems. And this is the power of community. And I hope many of you get a chance to see this tonight. It takes a lot of courage for people to come on, show their face, ask questions, because I do require people to show their face, to ask questions, and also for safety and security reasons as well on my end. But it takes a lot of courage to do that. That said, make sure, let's keep the comments in the chat area very respectful. I don't do well with people calling other people stupid because they're going through a certain experience. Listen, all of us have been stupid at some point in our lives, period. And so I've got a very low tolerance for that. You may have seen me even playing in the comments a little bit on Instagram over the last couple of days. I'm just convinced that this world is a very sick place. I've never I've never seen so many people come up with just some of the dumbest, craziest things to say about positive videos, just to have something crazy to say. And just watching many of you followers just get on and let people have it has actually been entertaining. I've got a 0 tolerance policy when it comes to bullying. I really do. I know what it's like to be bullied and picked on as a kid. Things turn out pretty well for me, but I don't have a very low tolerance policy for that. So let's keep that in mind tonight. In the event that we get commenters in the chat that are not heeding this, our moderators do a really good job of making sure that we take care of that. You might see some eagles in the comment section, and that simply means that eagles fly high above birds. And so I want you to be very mindful of that. But again, grab your journal. You're going to see many of you who do not come on camera tonight are probably dealing with many of the same challenges. And I want you to write down and record the things that I share tonight that will help these brave people that have decided to come on. Again, we'll continue to post the link in the comments if you want to join. And thank you all for making an Inspire Nation a very positive community. All right. So let's get into it. I'm going to go in the order that I have. And yes, you won't be able to see them come live on TikTok. TikTok is the only one you can't see. TikTok you can't hear. If you want to join one of the other networks, you can. I'm coming to you, CR. I don't know your name, but you were the first one up. Okay, I'm coming to you. And then we'll go from there. All right. I'm getting ready to pull you in. Good evening, my friend.
Good evening. How are you?
I'm exhausted. How you doing?
Oh, crazy. Good business.
Good.
So I have a question here.
Yep.
I'm a mom of two young adult teenage girls, 19 and 21, with 19-year-old having a 2-year-old son. I am trying to figure out how do I break away from being a basically a full-time parent and a grandparent at the same time to a young mom who's at that age where they're still trying to figure out what they want to do with their life and give them direction and things of that nature.
Sure. Sure. Are there any challenges that do they live with you? Is that correct?
Correct. So the 19-year-old lives with me. The 21-year-old, kind of not really in this situation, but just wanted to mention that for reference.
Sure.
The 19-year-old lives with me with the 2-year-old child.
Hmm. Are there
So
any? What are her plans in terms of next steps?
next steps, we are planning to move out, get our own place that's in the making,
Mhm.
um, provide reasonable just accommodations for herself. Honestly,
Okay. And I ask that because I don't want to make any assumptions. It's easy to hear that question and just go off on the handles and make assumptions, and I don't think that's fair. I want to say this before I say something else. I think we have to be very careful as parents, and I see this universally. CR, and appreciate your question, by the way. I see it universally where there is this attitude towards parenting that when a child turns 18, then it's time for them to get out. And if I'm being
correct.
very honest with you, and a lot of people are not going to like this is very cultural too.
Yes, I agree.
Now, people not going to like this, but it's very cultural because some of us, some of our cultures are good for this. When you get 18, get out my house.
Yes.
Well, here's the problem. There are other cultures that actually do a better job of this.
Hmm.
Actually help to set their children up so that when they leave the house, they can successfully leave the house, which
Correct.
means you as a parent, you can help to provide resources, advice, information, etc., um, to help your child or children move from your place of residence to where they're going to go, opposed to just putting them out on the street, allowing them to just live anywhere just so they have their own place and they're out of your hair. So
Correct.
I want to make sure I say that loud and clear that when a child, 19, 21, is making an effort to want to do better for themselves, I think a good parent does what a good parent does. And a good parent does what they can to try to get them started well.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So
Okay.
let's say that first. That
Okay.
said, I believe she also has to do her part. Now, I'm going to tell you, give her all the resources, the access that you can, the advice that you can. At 19, you're the parent, but you're more of a consultant than you are the parent. And I think
Okay.
this is a mindset shift that parents have to go through. Your job right now, CR, is less about telling her what to do, and it's more about giving her options and allowing her to make some decisions.
Okay.
Right? Does that make sense? And keep in mind that with a consultant, when consultants come into an organization, they don't come in and change an organization. That is the
Right.
false way to look at a consultant. When an organization hires a consultant, they bring them in to identify the problem spots, the challenge spots, places where that organization can grow. That consultant evaluates that organization, creates a report, and says, based on my time here are some things you need to think about. That consultant takes their check and they leave.
Okay.
Parents have to become consultants when kids become a certain age so that then we don't shift from parenting to enabling.
Okay.
This is a very dicey line, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because if not, our kids will become so dependent on us that they will actually believe, whether consciously or subconsciously, that we'll always be there to rescue them.
Right. Okay.
Here's the best scenario I can give you to make this clear to hopefully get you stirred in that direction. And
Okay.
I mean this humbly, Miss CR. CR, if you die tomorrow, what are they going to do?
That's always my question. That's always my question.
Let's not make this complicated. If you die tomorrow, I guarantee you, they're going to cry.
Uh-huh.
They're going to be upset. They're going to eat chicken. Depending on where you go to church, they're going to shout. They're going to do all of this stuff. They're going to cash that life insurance policy.
Correct.
And they're going to figure it out.
Okay.
That's a very important thing to keep in the back of your mind as it relates to weaning yourself from her. As a
Okay.
parent, we have to provide our children for life without us.
Okay.
That's the conversation that I think I have. More practical things I think we can consider. Go ahead and create an actual plan. I think it's one thing to discuss with a child that's still living with you that wants to transition out. Yeah, I'm going to get a job. I'm going to get my own place. It's another thing to have those plans, but also have them on timelines. Hey, 6 months. We're going to
Okay.
try to make this happen, and let's reverse engineer it. If the goal is to be moved out by 6 months, then what do we need to be doing in month number one?
Correct. Okay.
Reverse engineering so you can have some practical steps in place, some practical and tangible check marks that both of you can check and evaluate so that you can see that you're making progress. Now, it doesn't mean there might not be a chance that she doesn't make the 6 month mark, but let's just say if the goal is to move out at month 6 and by month 5, she's accomplished 8 of the 10 things on the list, she's not going to be there another year.
Correct.
She will have done a lot to be prepared to be much closer than what she was 5 months prior. Does that make sense?
Makes sense.
So
Uh-huh.
totally do that, and that way you're not just talking about we're going to move out, we're going to get our own,
Right.
but we're doing some very tangible things, and we're letting time make us honest in this process. Does that make sense at all?
Yes, a lot. A lot. What do I do as far as the child? The issue kind of more that I have is more along the lines of she's young and we want to go out and party because we feel like we're
Not,
still
not, no, no.
no, no,
That's
no.
where that's where the conversation tides turn.
Right. Meaning that she's in a space sometimes in her mind where she feels like she needs to find herself because she wasn't able to have her childhood. My comeback is always this is your responsibility and you're going to take care of that responsibility. It's not on me to do that, correct?
You're
So,
absolutely right.
okay. So, giving her the boundaries and the foundations that I'm not going to set up for that. Um, how does I feel like for me the child suffers in the process, because this is the life that she wants to choose on those specific days.
hmm And you say the child suffers because the child is with you instead of with um, the mom, right?
Correct. Correct.
Yeah, I agree. I agree because the child part of your grandchild's growing and living experience is going to be the experience of having a young single mom.
Okay.
And she's not going to be able to change that because she wants to go out a couple of nights a week and try to relive the years that she's missed. Here's the reality. When you become a parent, you throw all of that away.
Correct.
Now,
Okay.
people not going to like this because we're in this new age where parents are twerking with grandparents in
Yes.
clubs.
Yes.
And
Not over here, but yes.
it's ridiculous.
Yes, it is.
It's insane to
Hmm.
see a mama and a daughter in the club, and the mama is the grandmama, and
Right.
the daughter is the mama, and y'all twerking when you ought to be taking care of your kids.
Correct. Absolutely.
Okay, so I have a zero tolerance policy for that. Totally, I agree with you wholeheartedly. It does not mean I want to give her some grace here. It does not mean at 19 she can't get a break from time to time. We haven't talked
Right.
about the child's father. That could be a totally different conversation.
It is.
Okay, because it sounds to me that maybe the child's father may not be involved. Now,
Not at all.
there
Uh-huh.
you go. So again, these are the things that we signed up for in this
Correct.
situation. And she can't take that out on you because you didn't sleep with her.
Exactly. Okay. Makes all the sense in the world to me.
Okay. And I
Hmm.
know that's a hard conversation, but it's going to make her an incredible mother. And ultimately, if she wants to become a wife, it's going to make her an incredible wife because she's going to
Correct.
learn the power of independence and getting it done.
Yes.
So you're right, ma'am. This ain't your responsibility. And my heart goes out to you. I'm not a grandparent, obviously, but I think about my parents all the time, and they just goo goo gaga over their grandkids. Their grandkids can do no wrong. And
Exactly.
I heard that's how it is when you become that. But I will say to you, you're going to have to draw a very firm boundary with her when it comes to that so that she can feel the struggle, the
Yes.
challenge, the grief,
Hmm.
the heartache of having to do this solo when she doesn't want to do it.
Exactly.
And
Okay.
it's going to make her a better mom, and it's going to make her a better person. Does that make
Okay.
sense?
All the sense in the world.
You're an incredible grandma. I know that.
Thank you. I appreciate you for
It's a pleasure, my
tonight.
friend. Thank you for jumping on.
Thank you.
Now let's give CR a round of applause. That was awesome. Really good. Really good. And my thing is simple. Like y'all, we gotta stop enabling grown kids. And I know people don't like this because I know people and I have clients who have kids in their 40s and 50s and they still paying cell phone bills. In their 40s and 50s, ain't nothing wrong with them, mentally, emotionally, none of that. They still paying cell phone bills at 40 and 50. Oh my God. I'm talking about strong, able-bodied, all of that. Can't keep a job, won't stay on a job, will work a job 2 weeks, quit, and you still walk around paying their bills. Oh my God. You're the adult and won't even move. Why? Well, I got to make sure my son is okay. I got to make sure my daughter's okay. No, you don't. No, you don't. No, you don't. That is dysfunction at its finest. And y'all better stop. That ain't nothing but dysfunction. Taking care of a 50-year-old and you in your 70s on your way out of here, your 80s on your way out of here, and you trying to figure out how you going to take care of your 50-year-old daughter's bills. Y'all got to stop this. Stop it. And we can set our children up for this if we're not careful by how we treat them. Okay. And so I love it. Shout out to CR, man. An incredible grandmother person. You could tell she's torn. She wasn't really torn, but I think she wanted to hear out loud. I'm a good mom. I love my child. I love my grandchild, but I know what's right. And I appreciate people like that. Okay. So very good. Hey, Shakayla, are you there? Go ahead and cut on your camera so we can get you on. Y'all support the show. The ways to support the show are on the screen, and we'll make sure that the moderators get that up as well. Shakayla, I'm gonna bring you on. How are you?
I'm good, Doc. How are you?
Doing better now that I'm talking to you. I hope everything is well.
Oh yeah, look what you did to my oldest two. They are doing fantastic now.
Oh, that is so sweet.
They're doing
I
fantastic. Thank you
enjoyed
so much.
I enjoyed them. Just a really good time. It's always a good time to do this work with kids because kids are just different. And thank you for trusting me with them. I mean it sincerely.
Oh look, no problem. Look, anytime. But
What's up
so
with you?
I have been having a problem with, for lack of a better term, little Kayla. Because I know you did a live about, big and
Last
little.
week was powerful. Last week was good.
It was fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been having a problem where it's like I'm realizing that I would let people tell me what I am and what I was going through when I knew about it. Like when I know what I'm doing and what I'm going through, right? I already know all this information. But they'll come to me and be like, "Oh, you're going through this and this is the problem," and da da da. And I'm just like, I don't know how to like calm myself down to I don't know how to calm myself down in that situation, especially when it comes to like friends and family. I don't know how to, because I get so frustrated to the point where I'm like, I don't feel like dealing with anyone.
Mm-hmm.
And then I end up getting tired and I don't want that. So it's like, I don't know how to work myself through it.
Are you a people pleaser, Shakayla?
I used to be really bad.
Mm-hmm. You don't think you still are?
I mean, to an extent, and that's what I'm trying to stop.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I need to stop that because in the areas of my life where I stopped people pleasing, like with work and like just settling for anything when it comes to relationships outside of like family and stuff, that's gotten tremendously better because I set hard boundaries. But it's almost like I know in the past I didn't trust myself with myself, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. With people
Like,
out with your family and people close to you.
yeah, I thought that they would know better.
Oh
And
no.
now, and now that I'm getting out of it,
Mhm.
like I'll still have those moments of, oh, but maybe they know this, and maybe it's me, and maybe I'm the problem. And it's like it's honestly like a constant battle. And I don't know how to fix it.
Yeah, I think there are a couple of simple ways. I think this is going to be easy. There's a couple of simple ways. Number one, we need boundaries, right? And we know
Mhm.
that boundaries are a two-sided fence. We talked about that, right? You're going to set boundaries that protect you from others, and then boundaries. The other side of the fence is the part of the boundary that protects you from yourself. So it's one thing to say, I'll use this as an example. It's one thing to say, I'm going to create some distance with my family so they can't do this. Well, that takes care of step one of boundary setting. You have taken care of the part that protects you from them. What it doesn't take care of is you putting yourself in the vicinity of them, especially with tomorrow being, say, like Thanksgiving. A lot of people are going to struggle with executing on their boundaries tomorrow because, yeah, they created some distance, but now everybody's going to be together tomorrow. And tomorrow is going to prove that distance doesn't necessarily mean boundary.
Mm.
Distance doesn't necessarily mean adequate space. The other part of that is we've got to position ourselves to not do things that cause us to compromise the promises that we've made to ourselves.
Mm.
I'm not going to let them borrow money. I'm not going to let them run over me. I'm not going to let them tell me who I am, et cetera, et cetera. And so boundaries is a really good place to start. I think the other thing we have to be very honest with, Shakayla, is that we're probably putting our family on a pedestal.
Mm.
And a lot of people are not going to like this because there are a lot of people that still believe blood is thicker than water. When I did that video, a lot of people were shocked to learn that that's not the real quote. That's not the original quote of that quote. It's actually much larger than that. But the way I explained it, I did it that way because most people wouldn't understand the full quote. Blood is not thicker than water. We have to also give our family members boundaries, and we have to teach them how to respect the person that we are and the people we are becoming. But the challenge with people that are close to you is that people, because they are so close, cannot see your growth, cannot see your evolution. And a lot of times they can't disconnect who you were from who you really are. They try to make you the same. And I call it, the stinky feet syndrome. You ever been around somebody who has stinky feet?
Yeah.
I remember growing up and being an athlete, and I've explained this to many clients before. Um, I remember growing up as an athlete in locker rooms, and it's nothing like being around a player whose feet were just they stunk bad, and they would take their shoes off, and I mean the whole locker room was just on fire.
Mm.
But the crazy part about that, Shakayla, is everybody can smell it, but who?
The person who feet stink.
They can't smell it. You know why? The reason they can't is because when dysfunction sits on us long enough, it actually becomes a part of our character and who we are. I want to say that again loud. If y'all are writing, you need to write that down. When dysfunction sits on you long enough, it actually becomes a part of your character and who you are. And you can't separate what's normal from what's dysfunctional.
Mm.
And a lot of people struggle in that space. So it could very well be that you have people in your family, people connected to you, whatever, who really can't see themselves for who they are. So how do we get them there? Point number 3, self-awareness, honesty about who we are, where we are, what we're doing, but also honesty about who they are, where they are, and what they are doing. That
Mm.
means you've got to be willing to speak up for yourself and be your own best advocate. You don't have to be rude. You don't have to be loud, but you do have to be clear. You do have to
So,
be. Mm-hmm.
so like how, because like I speak up for myself, but it still feels like when I get there, there's that part of me that turns back into that little kid.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm arguing with myself like, yo, no, 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 no. This is not who you are anymore. Like you are fully grown. You got your own kids. You wouldn't want anyone to speak like this to
Yep.
you on the street. So it's
You
like I'm having that conversation and
You're going to have to make that change. You're going to have to make that change. And if you are aware enough to know you're doing it, guess what? You're aware enough to make a change. It's that simple. Excuses have to be minimized. We have to minimize excuses, Shakayla, when we are aware enough to acknowledge dysfunction. See, people don't like this. You read the comments on these videos, these people in this world are so sensitive and unrealistic. But the reality is, a little kid is able to be responsible when they're aware of their flaws, when they're aware of their mistakes. You don't give a house key to a kid that's 5 years old. No. But when a kid is old enough to be aware of the difference between right or wrong and acknowledge it, then that means they can change their behavior. If you can acknowledge their dysfunction, you can do something about it. If you don't do something about it and you've acknowledged it, then guess what, Shakayla? My grandmama used to say it like this: people change either when they get ready or when they get tired.
And it's like, I realize I don't like to be around them as much because I notice their dysfunction. And I'm just like, I just don't want to be around it. And I don't know if that, but then I get all the phone calls and everything, and I'll stop by for maybe 2 seconds, but because of where I stayed, I just come straight home. I'm like, okay, hi and bye. And I just want to be able to not feel, I guess, that anger when it comes to them, when I know that they're wrong about who I am.
If you know they're wrong, you're going to have to process that for you. It's almost like you're saying, I want to stop feeling this anger towards them, but you want them to do something about it. How can you expect people who don't know their feet stink to change it?
True.
They're not going to change it. They're not going to change it, which means if you're in a locker room and somebody's feet stinks and they're not aware that their feet stink, what are you going to be able to do in order to correct that situation? You really only have about 2 choices. Either number one, you can leave where they are, not be around them, not come around in the locker room, not go to Thanksgiving thing, whatever. And if you're close to your family, I don't recommend that. Be around your family. Or thing number 2, have the courage to say, you know what? If I got to be around this, I can mention this in a way that I'm honest and direct, but also respectful.
See, that doesn't work for them though. Like I know I've tried it. I've tried to say it in the most respectful way, but with the type of family that I have, it's like they will take it as disrespect no matter what I say. So it's like I don't like to come around.
You have a dysfunctional family. So then if I tell you your feet stink and you say, no, it don't, ain't nothing wrong with my feet, and I smell it and any other normal person smells it, then what are you going to do? Then you're going to have to create some distance between you and the stinky feet. And people don't like this because y'all say stuff like, well, it's family over everything. I disagree. Not when they're dysfunctional and they don't want to own it.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. And this is how we perpetuate dysfunction from generation to generation. You have families where everybody from the great grandma to the grandkids are dysfunctional. You know why? Because nobody speaks up about stinky feet. We walk around and act like we don't smell nothing.
Yeah, because anytime,
Shakayla, somebody has to be the change agent.
Yeah, because anytime I speak up, people just get upset, and I'm like, all right, I'll just go home then. It pays me no, never mind. So it's like,
even your healing journey is going to change your response too. Even your healing journey is going to change your response, because when you are healed, you don't feel like you need to argue, even when you're right. You don't have to make an argument. You don't have to be loud. You don't have to make a scene, nothing. If they say, well, ain't nothing wrong with us, there's something wrong with you. Hey, fine, no worries. I appreciate it. I just wanted to bring it to you all. Thank you for your response. And then you don't change with your words, you change with your actions. If I'm telling you your feet stink and you don't want to change your feet stinking, then I'm going to do something different. I'm not coming in that locker room as much. Or when I come in, I'm going to be in and out. I'm going to speak when I get there. I ain't going to have no attitude, but I'm going to be in and out. But what I ain't going to do is wait for a dysfunctional person to validate how I feel. There ain't no validation when you're dealing with dysfunctional people.
Mm. Yeah.
There ain't no validation when you're dealing with dysfunctional people. What they gonna validate?
Nothing, because they dysfunctional. They don't notice anything.
Bingo. So when we expect them to change or do something different, when they don't smell that their feet stink, how is it gonna happen? I told you don't respond. Now I got to do something different. And again, hopefully it doesn't get to the point where you don't want to come in the locker room at all ever. Okay, I hope it doesn't get to that point, especially if you want to be close to your family. I'm an advocate of that. But if it doesn't get there, or if it does get there, then you got to do what you have to do to protect your peace, protect the peace of your children as well.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
All right.
Also, I had emailed you.
Okay.
Because you told me to email you, so I emailed.
Okay, I'll double check it. I'll check it tonight. I'm gonna be working a little bit tonight when I get off.
All right. Thank you so much.
My pleasure, my friend. Tell the little ones I said hey.
I will. Look, they want to work with you real bad. I was like, hey, chill out. His stuff opens tomorrow. Let's relax.
I can't wait. You make sure you tell them that. I can't wait. It was a pleasure. I mean that sincerely.
All right. I'll let them know. Bye. Thank you.
Thank you, Shakayla. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
I know. Y'all, let's give it up for Shakayla. Really good job there. Very good. Yeah, y'all gotta stop. Y'all are Gigi said you're getting people's minds prepared. I'm telling you, and it's way worse when we one-on-one, because I'm telling you, it just gets bloody ugly sometimes. The reality is, y'all gotta stop letting dysfunctional people control your life. And many of y'all are being ruled by dysfunctional people, and you trying to create logic with dysfunction. Ain't no logic in dysfunction. I need y'all to write that down. Put that in the comments in all caps. Tag a family member. Ain't no logic in dysfunction. Doc, that ain't good English. That's okay. I got a real PhD. Ain't no logic in dysfunction. None. And when you find it, let me know. Ain't no logic in dysfunction. And y'all be trying to find logic in dysfunction because it's your parents, it's your mama, it's your daddy, it's your cousins, it's your ain't no logic in that. Because a dysfunctional person cannot be logical. Because most dysfunctional people are unaware. And when you're not aware, how the heck are you going to be logical about something you're not even aware of? Let's stop, y'all. Or maybe you are aware, but you ain't honest enough to admit that you are. And that tends to be the case with a lot of people. Because a lot of this stuff we call in dysfunction, especially with family people, they know exactly what they're doing. They just not honest enough to admit it and own it. And that's even greater dysfunction. Okay? Just keep that in mind. All right. Herm Gibson. Herm, I see you next. If you'll cut on your camera, we'll get you in the room. If you're there, if not, I'll go to the next one. You're doing pretty good on time. I don't have a full waiting room. The link to join should be in the chat area. We'll keep dropping it in there. I don't see Herm showing up, so I will go to the next person. I've got Lisa. Are you there? You'll cut on your. There we are. I'm going to bring you in, my friend. Okay. There we go. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing good, my friend. Better now that I'm talking to you. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Awesome. Well, now
what can you help me with?
You talking about the stinky feet? That helped me with my situation.
Told you. What's happening?
So I have a boyfriend who is a bit of an avoidant.
Okay.
And we've been seeing each other for almost a year now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been a bit rocky, to say the least. He will get upset and disappear for a couple of days, won't answer calls and texts. He does not like to talk about his feelings. And he's been getting counseling for over a year now.
With who?
I'm not sure who she is, who the counselor.
It's probably that free stuff they offer from insurance. Look, I'm not being funny. Take that. Take that whatever way you want to. Miss Lisa, I continue to say that not all counseling, coaching, therapy is created the same. It ain't. You cannot justify a person getting counseling for a year and they still running.
That's what I said. That's exactly what I said. I said, you've been getting counseling for over a year and it doesn't seem like it, because we've been together almost a year.
Yep.
And I said, so do you talk to your counselor and tell her, like, you get upset about those smallest things? I don't even have any idea you're upset, you know? And then you disappear. And then I'm like, what's going on? Oh, you said such and such, you know, or whatever. Remember when you said, I'm like, what? Like, how did that make you upset? So do you think that, is there a point, or is there a situation where a relationship can work out with an avoidant?
No.
No? Wow.
No, absolutely not. You talk to other counselors, coaches, therapists, they might tell you something. I'm going to tell you right now, when a person is healed, Miss Lisa, and it sounds like you are trying to do the work, when you are healed, it is impossible for a healed person and an avoidant to be together. And let me tell you how on time your question is. I'm looking for it because I have my content lined up.
I saw a post from earlier today about running away from feelings.
Yep. Let
That
me
hit
tell you
home.
what my Video Tuesday title is. Let me give you the title. It's going to make you fall out in your seat. Tuesday's video is going to be a bloodbath, and it's based on a conversation that I had with a client who allowed me to share it. And I had to really get her together. Tuesday's video topic is called How Dismissive Avoidance Can Destroy You.
Oh, I believe it.
And I don't want to give away the goods that I'm going to talk about Tuesday, but let me just say this and let everybody chew on this for a second. When you're in a relationship with an avoidant is a pro at making you feel like you're the problem when they're the problem. Because when you deal with an avoidant who will not own their issues, they will leave you. And because they leave you the way they do, you will question who you are, because you can't separate how they first showed up from how they left. Your brain can't process it. And this causes you mental and emotional damage like you can't believe.
Oh, wow.
Tuesday going to be powerful. I can't wait to talk about it. I almost want to give y'all the notes right now.
Wow.
Many brains have been destroyed because when a person is an avoidant and they just up and leave every time there is a problem, a challenge, they disappear for days. But this is the same person that probably begged to be with you, that was so sweet and loving when they were with you at first. Your brain can't separate who they were from how they left, and it leaves you mentally and emotionally destroyed. Wow. And I got her right together in 60 minutes.
Oh, really? Wow.
It don't take long.
Wow.
You know how we break this? It's simple. You asked a really good question. Can a relationship work with an avoidant? I don't think so. Not if you heal. But I'm going to take it a step further. You're going to know you're healed if you have the ability, Miss Lisa, to see him not for who you hoped he was, but for who
he really is.
Bingo.
It's strange because there's a lot of nice, good things about him. And he's such he takes care of his mom. His mom's been sick for a while. There's a lot of good things about him. And I know he's working on himself, but
listen, there's a lot of good things about an Acura. It'll never be a Bentley. Oh my God. It'll never be a Bentley.
Right.
Period.
I need to send him to you. That's what I need to do. Can you help him?
I don't know if he can take it. He'll probably run off the call.
Oh, wow.
I've had it happen. I've had it happen. Because most counselors, coaches, therapists, they don't have the guts to talk to people and tell them the truth. They don't. I do.
Right.
The reality is, man, it ain't going to work until he heals. And if he's been in counseling for a year, I don't know who he's seeing. And I don't know what he's paying to see them. But I'm telling you right now, let this be proof that not all counseling, coaching, therapy is the same. It ain't. We not all equal.
Right. I'm going to try to get him to sign up for your counseling.
Put him on. It ain't gonna take but one session. And if he'll hear the truth,
Oh wow.
if he'll hear the truth, he will hear some stuff in that 60 minutes he probably ain't heard in a year.
I'm sure, because some of the stuff he says his counselor says, I'm like, what?
Have you ever this is gonna be so bad. Oh God, this is gonna be so bad. Ms. Lisa, do you expect free food to taste like food you pay for?
No.
We never do. We never do. I spent a lot of my life giving back and pouring in the community, feeding people, clothing people, and I like it. I love giving back. One of the things that I was a big advocate of was the quality of doing that, because just because you're serving people free food doesn't mean you got to just ball the food up any kind of way. I know this is a time of year where people are volunteering. You just ball the food any kind of way and you just give it to people because, hey, it's free. So, take this food. No. Just because it's free doesn't mean you don't make sure that you package it right, you present it right, etc. But most people can admit that free food and food that you pay for ain't the same. And the reality is, counseling, coaching, therapy, this stuff ain't all equal. It's not. Because most folks will take your money and let you waddle in this and let you just talk all day about how you feel.
Yes.
And I'm going to give you about 15 minutes to do that. And then after that, when I've gathered my data, then we jumping in.
That's what I like.
It don't take long, sweetheart. It doesn't. So I hate this, but that's just my honest opinion, that this relationship is not going to work until he changes. And don't get me started. Can I ask you this, Ms. Lisa? Is he older or younger?
A little bit younger.
He's a little bit younger.
Right.
Interesting. Because we could get into some other things about hypergamy and roles in the relationship and the possibility of respect being compromised. He is a younger man, but as a younger man dating older,
he's 48. He's 48.
He's 48 and running. He ought to have
never been married, never. Yeah, he's said he's never been in love before. Has never gotten close to anybody except.
No. At 48. Let me guess, he probably has overall commitment issues.
He does.
I guarantee it. He sounds like the kind of person, because men and women are like this. I want to be clear, because the men get real butthurt when I come after them, but then they ignore the videos when I come after women. Anyway, men and women have this challenge, and I want to say this. He sounds like a person who struggles with commitment in general. And if he is running at 48, he'll probably be running at 68.
But he says he's committed to me.
How? Why? How is he committed and running at the same time? Come on, Miss Lisa. Miss Lisa, listen.
He'll disappear for a couple of days and then, blame me because he was mad and stuff,
Miss Lisa, and you let him come back?
No, at first I thought he had ghosted me or something. So I started talking to somebody else and then he said I was cheating.
Miss Lisa, wait a minute. Why are you talking to somebody else so fast?
Because we just started talking.
Okay.
Yeah, we just started.
And just started, he took off running.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
but that problem was his mom. His mom has been sick, real sick, having strokes and seizures and all that stuff, and him in and out of the hospital with her. So
I'm very sorry to hear that.
I gave him grace for that. Right.
I'm totally sorry to hear that. Very sorry to hear that. But guess what? All of us going through something.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. And see, when I say that, there's somebody on this live or watching the replay. If I keep this up tonight, if y'all support this, is going to say, I don't like this guy. He's not validating my feelings. Yeah, I am. I just said, I'm sorry to hear that his mom's upset. I also just said, we all going through something. Two things can be true at the same time. Run.
That's true. Run?
Yes. Run the opposite direction. Because at 48, if he can't multitask, work a job, show up for his mom, show up for you, show up for whomever else. If he can't multitask, he's not going to be able to handle no relationship with you.
Yeah, he told me he wasn't a good multitasker and his mom was his priority. He's taking care of his mom. He's a real estate investor. He has properties all over the place. He's
Wait. Does he manage his properties everywhere?
He's got managers he's got property managers all over, but he still travels to them because he's, you know.
So he has the common sense to hire help to manage his properties.
He does.
Come on, Miss Lisa, let's stop. Let's not do this. Miss Lisa, Miss Lisa, Miss Lisa, Miss Lisa, let's not do this. Because I'm gonna say this to you: women do this stuff all the time, and women not gonna like this, and I don't care.
Oh my God.
Y'all do this stuff all the time. Y'all can convince Donald Trump that Elvis is alive. Because if y'all see something that you think has a glimmer of hope, you will take that quarter and try to make it $100 bills. Baby, that's a quarter. I don't care how you slice it, dice it. You can tape it to a piece of paper and put 100 on it. You'll never make it $100. Women are good at this. Women are good at this, and y'all ain't gonna, and there are some men that do this too, but I'm telling you, women are good. You know why? Because you allow your emotions to give him a chance. I need you to take your emotions and put it in the back seat, and I need you to look at this from a logical perspective. And ask yourself, Ms. Lisa, logically, how much sense does this make? It doesn't make any sense at all. You're a beautiful, smart, well-spoken, well-presented woman, and you're connected to somebody who cannot commit to anything but his work. And he's got the sense to plan that out, but he don't have the sense to organize his time with you. Stop. Let's not do this, Miss Lisa.
Oh my gosh, 100% true. Thank you. Now, if I send them and you get them right, then
what? Look, Miss Lisa. Oh my God, Miss Lisa, you won't let go. If I send them to you and you get them right, then Miss Lisa. Let me tell you something. I'm not saying that ain't possible. You might be able to reconcile, but I need you to make sure that that reconciliation lines up with your values. Because I'm gonna tell you, he might get right, but if it don't line up with your values of peace and commitment and consistency and strength, then it may not be a good idea.
Right. Exactly.
So I wouldn't bank on that. I wouldn't bank on that. You have to heal, Miss Lisa. You know, and we could spend some time because I'm very curious to hear about your attachment style too. I think I have an idea of what it is, but I'm very curious to hear what your attachment style might be, because I can see some glimmers of some things just based on some of your responses to his behavior.
Right.
And I don't want you to find somebody who does check more boxes, but then your tolerance for what they do raises even more because they're checking more boxes. No. You have to have a set level of boundaries and values so that across the board, whomever you're meeting and you're engaging, you can evaluate them properly based on who you are and what you represent. Those attitudes, beliefs, perspectives, principles. Okay. So, you know, the look will be open.
I've done a lot of work, a lot of counseling and everything. I was married for almost 24 years, well, together. And then it's been over 6 years and before I decided to get into this relationship.
So you spent some time away. It sounds like you
spent it'll be 7 years in April.
Yeah, it sounds like you spent a decent amount of time away from that marriage. Kudos to you, because I think that's a big deal. A lot of people don't take that time off to themselves. So I think that's a big deal. So why would you take all of this time off to yourself and then jump into this piss pool? Why?
I knew he was, working on things, and
he's not working on nothing.
I knew he was a good man, taking care of his mom and everything.
Good subjective. Good is subjective. Good. Hey, people think Burger King good. My kids can't stand Burger King. It's all subjective.
True.
See, again, he's a good man. He's this. He takes care of his mama. He's a good. You're still validating dysfunction. And that's my concern with you, Miss Lisa.
I don't validate the things that he does.
You are.
And the disappearing and.
Yes, you are. Because two things can be true at once. You can acknowledge that him disappearing is wrong.
Right.
But if the next sentence says, but hey, he's a good man, he takes care of his mom, you are looking for a reason.
In that regard, he's a horrible boyfriend.
You're looking for a reason to call him something that overall he really ain't. I know. That's hard to hear. Doc, stuff don't have to be absolute. Okay. I just said two things can be true at once. I agree with that to an extent, but I'm telling you now, if he's got the sense to look after his mother and look after all of these properties he owns and hire help to do that and manage that, but he don't have the strength to stick around and work through stuff with you, he might still be a good guy. We can make this even more simple. He may not just want you, Miss Lisa. And that's something we have to be honest about. If you want to make him a good guy, great. Maybe he just doesn't want you.
I tried to break up with him many times.
Well, avoidants don't like that. It's the push and pull.
Oh, okay.
When an avoidant runs and you feel him running and you stop chasing and you decide to yank the rope back and say, I'm not chasing you no more, I'm going this direction. Guess what? The avoidant feels that, and nothing makes an avoidant chase you like you stopping chasing them. This is why avoidants almost always come running back. And you got to know this. And the only way you break that cycle of an avoidant running back to you and this back and forth is if you cut the cord. That was a word. Because when you cut the cord, it ain't no coming back. They love back and forth like the Aaliyah record.
Wow.
So cut the cord. So
Never dealt with one before until now. So
cut the cord, or you're gonna be going back and forth for the rest of your life or your rest of your time with this man. Stop.
Right.
Let's stop.
I hear you.
Okay.
Yes.
This is on you. I'm more concerned about you than him, because I'm gonna tell you at the end of the day, he's dysfunctional. I just said this. We can't put logic around dysfunction. Right. He's dysfunctional. He's gonna be what he is. I'm more concerned about you. I don't want you going back and forth with people who cannot acknowledge their challenges and do something about it. Okay?
Yes.
Ms. Lisa, it's a pleasure.
You too, Doc. I appreciate you.
I hope to work with you soon. I'm going to look forward to it.
Okay.
Thank you, my friend. Y'all, let's give it up to Ms. Lisa. That was really good. Wow. Very honest, too. Yeah, I'm trying to make sense out of this, and I just ain't making sense to me, y'all. And I don't make excuses for nobody. And again, I said this because dudes get real quiet on this when I talk about them. But then when I jump on women, they ain't got nothing to say. Like, I don't care who you are, what your gender is, and where you're from. Right is right and wrong is wrong. And you're not going to make an avoidant love you until they change. I don't care what you do. I don't care how you spin it. I don't care what expectations you set. An avoidant is going to run until they heal that style of attachment. Good luck trying to fix an avoidant. It ain't going to work. Okay? All right. I see you, Miranda. I think you're next, Miranda. Are you there? If you want to cut on your camera, we'll get you on. We're making good time. We don't have a lot of people in the waiting room. This may not be a long show tonight. Miranda, are you there? If not, I'm going to go down the line. Y'all, are y'all supporting the show? I need y'all to support this show. I want to leave this up. I want you to support. I'm not tripping. I know my book's open tomorrow. Somebody sent me a message and said, Doc, your book's open tomorrow. I need to hold on. I need to try to get on the couch. No worries. No worries. I want to work with you. Miranda, are you ready? I see you got your blanket. There we go. You all comfortable? I'm going to bring you on. Hey, Miss Miranda, how are you?
Hello. Sorry, I'm out of breath. I just had to run upstairs because I had you on my phone. I was doing my dishes.
That's okay. It's okay. It's a pleasure to have you on. It's good to meet you.
Likewise.
What can we help you with?
I was thinking about this as I was listening to everyone else talk.
Mm-hmm.
So I am, those stairs got me. I am a therapist myself.
Nice.
So I've really enjoyed listening to everything that you're talking about with attachment and things.
Outstanding.
I am an anxious attachment girly myself, rooted out of abandonment. My mom passed away when I was an infant in a car accident. And so my work is grief work and working predominantly with motherless daughters.
Very good. Very good.
Which I love. It's my passion.
Outstanding.
But I've been working on healing an anxious attachment. And as you know, and probably many others know, that tends to, in an unhealed place, attract narcissistic avoidant folks.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So that has pretty much been my trend in relationships through my adulthood all the way up to present. So I have a 1.5-year-old, and the relationship ended with his father about a month and a half ago after I learned that he was cheating. And we have a house together, and so I ended the relationship. He is now moving out in the middle of December, and so I'm kind of just in this space of rebuilding. And I think for me, my question would be like, how do I, as a therapist, anxiously attached mom, navigate parenting for nearly 2 decades with an avoidant narcissist? Because it's going to be challenging, to say the least.
Yeah. How long were you two together, Miranda?
3 years. This October made 3 years.
Yeah, this is a really good question, and kudos to you. And first of all, thank you for your work. I think your work and your focus is necessary, without a doubt. And so definitely big props to you there. I enjoy. I have a lot of clients that are counselors, therapists, coaches, and I'm always honored to get their questions, because I do believe that in this space, and I think you would agree. You can be in this space and be like the hairdresser who can do everybody's hair well. Like, you're really good at styling everybody else. But some of the best beauticians that I've seen, barbers that I've seen, have the worst haircuts.
1000%. Yes.
The worst haircuts, right? Which means you can know the way, but the actual application of this stuff that we know can be a challenge, especially when we're dealing with our little ego, part of us that is attached to how we feel, our emotions, that then stems into our attachment styles that link to how we were raised, that link to all of these wounds that are still healing and evolving. So I would say 2 things to you. Number one, I talk to a lot of my clients about the proving stage, especially if you're an anxious avoidant or an anxious attachment style. I talk a lot about the proving stage, which is that stage where you meet someone and you think there's interest, and things seem to be right and checked, but you're also aware that as an anxiously attached person, narcissists, other avoidants can be lurking in the background. So that period of time between getting to know or meeting them and feeling like you have interest and getting to a place where you feel completely vulnerable, that period of time has to be longer than a securely attached person.
Yes.
It has to be. For some people, and I hate to put time limits on this because it depends on who you are. For some people, that comfort comes in 2 months. For some people, that comfort comes in 4 months. For an anxious person, it may take 5 or 6 months. And when you're dealing with a securely attached person, they're going to have the patience to be able to endure your extended proving stage so that you feel comfortable knowing that this is real. The only person that gets upset with that extended stage is who? The narcissist, the avoidant, right? And so I would say to you, number one, extend that proving stage. And then 2, on the back end of this, as he's moving out, moving on, give yourself some grace for being in this situation. I probably shouldn't say this publicly, but I am. In this business that we're in, we can, oh, this is personal. We have the tendency to think the best about people.
1000%. Yes.
You get it. We can be in this space and think the best about people and be devastated when we find out that what we thought is not what it was.
Mm-hmm.
And so then we begin to question ourselves, our growth, our knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
No, you gave him the benefit of a doubt that he never earned.
Mm-hmm.
Give yourself some grace in that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that needs to be infused as you go through this grieving process. You go through those stages of grief. You should. You need to feel all 5 of those stages. But give yourself some grace through this and recognize this can happen to anybody, Miranda, without a doubt. But it can especially happen to those of us who think we check the boxes because we have the knowledge to check the box, but you can't control people.
Mm-hmm.
You can't. Pause and then realign your life with your values. I would also say this, what I would recommend to you is what I've recommended to many. This is a good time to reevaluate your values and to begin to realign your life with them.
Mm-hmm.
Your values probably when you met him and you were dating him versus your values now that he's leaving and you're a mother are going to be totally different. What are those 5 to 7 attitudes, beliefs, perspectives, principles that are most important to you? And then begin to use that as a construct to build a foundation for a new life. So if you say to me, one of those values, I'm using this as an example, is peace, then you're going to start making decisions from here on out that support those values, that value of peace and all of your other 5 or 6 values. What this does is it helps to build a bridge between the pain of the breakup and the struggle with the anxious attachment style. You're building on it on a new foundation. This foundation is not on what he did to you, and it's not on what happened to you as a child. The foundation is now 2024. Here are my 7 values. I'm sorry, November 2024. Here are my 7 values. And moving forward, I'm going to construct moving forward on this new foundation. And I think this is a really good way to kind of start over because those values are going to give you a different sense of focus. They're going to give you a different sense of purpose. And it's going to cause you to take your mind and your thoughts and your emotions off of him and really put it on rebuilding something new for your life. Does that make sense at all?
Yeah, absolutely. And I've had a lot of those thoughts in the last month and a half. And I think because I lost so early and drove it into my passion and the work that I do, I'm very, very good at seeing something terrible that happens in my life and saying like, okay, what can I do with this now? Like, how can I make this a thing? So I'm starting to try and help at the same time as trying to not intellectualize my emotions and let me actually feel the things, give myself the grace and compassion.
You get
but
it.
At the same time doing that, I'm also trying to think, okay, well, I have this whole population of motherless women who I work with who predominantly also have anxious attachment styles, who are also unfortunately attracting narcissistic avoidant partners that then I can use my story just as I have this whole time to help them heal as well, which is going to ultimately help me too. It's going to be interesting to just navigate parenting with him, knowing all the things he's done and how he's treated me. And my child is obviously so young that I wouldn't tell him any of the truth for a very long time. But I like the piece about, just aligning deeper with my values and whatever behavior that he's engaging in, eliminating myself from it if it doesn't align with those.
Yeah, the value system is undefeated. It's one of the best things that I've created in this space because pain does many times, you understand this without a doubt, Miranda, pain many times becomes the impetus for change. So in this space, some of my best years and my best moments have been when I was going through my own personal challenges.
Yeah.
And they really became a bedrock foundation for inspiring me to not only heal, but also to empower people who are going through the same exact things. And so when pain comes, we know our emotions as an anxious attachment style. If you're anxiously attached, your emotions are going to lead the way and not your logic. I tell my clients to flip that. Yes, feel your emotions, but sit your emotions to the side and let's let logic lead for the next 60 months. How do we do that? I'm sorry, the next 60 days. How do we do that? For the next 60 days, we let logic cause us to sit down. First of all, when we feel those negative emotions regarding the hurt, we embrace that. We don't run from it. We don't minimize it. You get that. But then logic says, okay, you've had your moment. Here are my values. Here are the 5 to 7 attitudes, beliefs, perspectives, principles that will now govern our lives moving forward. In doing that, you then begin to teach the ego, which is the part of your brain that's sitting on your shoulder saying, it's going to happen to you again. I can't believe you allowed that to happen. How dare you, Miranda, allow him to do this to you when you're this. That's your ego talking to you, keeping you in the past, having you worried about the future. But when we rebuild with values, we replace that conversation with, that's the past. We're not worried about the future. The present says we need 5 to 7 things that will ground us to build a new foundation moving forward. So value system is absolutely a good way to rebound from this. It's going to take your mind out of the pains of him leaving. It's going to take your emotions and kind of set them in the back seat, though we know they're back there and they're going to have some moments. Thanksgiving's coming up. Holidays, you get this. This is the time of the year where we're the busiest, right? Because, those emotions are going to ride. Feel them. If you cry tomorrow and eat your turkey, it's okay.
Yeah.
But while you're crying, I want you to grab a sheet of paper and say, what are these 5 to 7 attitudes, beliefs, perspectives, principles that we're going to rebuild on?
Yeah.
And that's your logic saying, let me take over and drive and spend the next 60 to 90 days driving.
Yeah. All in all, I'm excited. From heartbreak and loss through every grief and grief-stricken moment I've had in my life, from nearly birth, has birthed a community and connection and growth. And so overall, I'm excited. It's just it's just the navigating it in the thick of it.
No, I love that for you. And it's, I want to give you a phrase that I want you to keep, and I want you to share with your clients, and I want you to remember this for yourself. And this is important. Pain isn't always destruction. Sometimes it's birth.
Church. Felt.
Pain isn't always destruction. And I hope everybody's writing this in their journal. Sometimes it's birth. The same pain you feel when you feel like you're about to die is the same pain that a woman feels when she's about to give birth. It's the same pain. That's a perspective shift. That's reframing, cognitive reframing. It's taking pain and reassigning new meaning to it so that then our emotions can calm down and our logic can then start to lead the way. It ain't always destruction. Sometimes it's birth. You're going to be fine, my friend.
Yes, I will. I know that.
I'm so honored by this call. I mean,
thank you.
I am. I'm honored. I love talking to people like you because it's very assuring for me, but it's also it's very humbling. You're doing a tremendous work. There are women around the world that need what you do. You go ahead and grieve this loss, and I believe this is going to cause you to come out as the best practitioner that you've ever been. So I'm proud of you.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. Thank you.
I can never support you. Reach out to me. You let me know. I mean it sincerely.
Thank you.
Thank you, Miranda. Y'all, let's give it up for her. Wow. I love it. When I get these calls, they mean a lot to me because, again, people think the beautician doesn't go through anything. No, the beautician goes through things too. What the beautician has to do is make sure that they prepare themselves the way we encourage other people to prepare themselves. And so kudos to you, Miranda, for doing that. Can you repeat that phrase, 5 to 7 things? Yes. What are your 5 to 7 values? This is in the value system. I got an ebook. It came out last Thursday on that. It's only 15 pages. But your values are a set of attitudes, beliefs, perspectives, and principles. They are the attitudes, beliefs, perspectives, and principles that govern the way we live our lives. And anytime you're going through a painful situation or challenge in your life, that's a good time to reestablish what those attitudes, beliefs, perspectives, and principles are. All right. And so I want to encourage all of you to do that if you're in a similar situation. All right. Very good. Y'all, let's give it up for her again. That was really good. Really, really, really good. Steph, are you there? Steph, are you there? I got Steph next, and then I've got Sonny after Steph. Steph, you there? I'm gonna add you if you're there. I don't see you. There you are.
Hello there.
Hey, Steph, how are you doing?
Good. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you great, my friend. Thank you so
Great,
much
great,
for
great. Thank you
jumping
so
on.
much for taking my, I don't know, not a call, but thank you for taking me today.
My pleasure.
Happy Thanksgiving to you and everybody.
Same to you and your family.
Thank you so much. What I wanted to just discuss a little bit is that I am suffering from a mother wound.
Okay.
I grew up in a household that was heavily involved in domestic violence. I got married. Basically, I married my mother, who has narcissistic, I don't want to say she's a narcissist, but I feel like she has a lot of narcissist tendencies. And I ended up marrying the same individual. And I guess I did that because maybe that was familiar to me. And at the time, I was the unhealed version of myself, which I guess I would say like the 1.0 version of myself. I've since gotten out of the marriage that I was in, gone through healing therapy. And once I came out of that relationship, it really empowered me to start really choosing myself, because in that relationship with my mom, because everybody within the household, I have 2 other siblings, received a title. My brother being the golden child, my sister, I guess, would be like the lost, and I would be what I guess would be the scapegoat. So based on me coming out of the relationship with my ex-husband, I've just become more empowered, not wanting to really deal with my mom anymore because the way that she treats me. So now we're like no contact. And I'm really trying to figure out if she wants to try to come back in terms of like to have a relationship with me. I'm trying to figure out how to establish a healthy relationship, but I want it necessarily to be on my terms. I want to be respected. I want to be loved. I want it to be treated appropriately. And those are a lot of the things that just didn't exist because I was just so hungry for love. I just took anything that she gave me, and then that's what I end up doing in relationships. So I just kind of wanted a little guidelines on how to reestablish that relationship if it gets to that point.
Sure. If you ever were fed food out of a trash can and had to eat it because you didn't have food, but then all of a sudden you grew to a place where you could cook your own food or you could order gourmet food. If you were presented with the opportunity to eat food out of the trash, what would be your response?
It would be an absolute no for me.
It would be a no. Are you opposed to food?
Not at all.
You're not opposed to food, but you're more opposed to what?
Food that is non-consumable.
Bingo. You're not opposed to your mom either.
I'm not. I mean, I love her, but I don't like how she treats me.
Bingo. So you're not opposed to food. You're opposed to how that food is presented. I want you to take that analogy and take it right to her. So when she comes to you, you say, Mama, I'm not opposed to you. Because see, you've got to understand that when a person has dealt with that dysfunction that has driven you to the trash can and you ate food from a trash can for many years, and now you're no longer eating that food. It's not that you have thrown away food. It's the same argument that I make, my friend, with people who give up, say, on love, Miss Steph, who say, hey, I'll never love again because I went through a divorce. Well, you don't have a problem with love. You have a problem with the pain that came with love. You had a problem with the fact that you had to eat food out of a trash can. Food is not the issue. And I think when we do that, it changes our frame, our perspective, our mental and maybe even emotional perspective on being able to give food a try again. I want you to consider that analogy when you talk to her, when she comes back, if she comes back, if she wants to reconcile, and say to her, Mom, I'm not anti-mom. I'm pro-mom, but I'm pro the right way. And I think that's a conversation that will be a good test, Miss Steph, if I'm being honest with you, of the work that you've done over these years. And kudos to you. This is worth a round of applause for sure. To rebound from that and to pull yourself out of the trash can, to get to a place where you've had to heal, and now you're healed and you have established boundaries for your life and turn that corner is absolutely commendable. It would just be crazy to go back to the trash can.
not to cut you out. It's so
Yeah.
funny that you say that, because I just don't have the desire like before. I just took anything now because I feel like I finally love myself. I finally prioritize myself. When people come at me in that way, I just cannot consume it. I can't. It is, if I feel like it's against my principles, because I have certain boundaries, a certain way that I require for you to treat me. And if I feel like if you're not going to treat me the way that I deserve to be treated, because I accepted so much terrible behavior from just everybody because I wanted to be loved. I just took whatever anybody would give me. But I'm no longer doing that. And one thing that I wanted to point out, not to make this too long, we have been in familiar spaces since, that we've gone. I guess you can call it like no/low contact. Like if there's an event, maybe we're in the same space. So I'm very respectful. Hi, how are you doing? But I don't really engage. And what I notice is that she keeps coming around like my space, or she'll bring me this or she'll bring me that. And how year after year after years, how we would reconcile is that we would just sweep everything under the rug and then it'll just be okay. And so I think what is she's doing, she's thinking that's how we're going to get back to a relationship again. But that's not going to work for me, because we have to have a dialogue and she has to have instructions on how to handle me. And that's where she has a problem.
Yeah, I think you just needed this. Imagine just standing on the edge of the water and you're just kind of dipping your foot in the water to see how cold it is. You don't know if you want to jump in. And then there's me, who just kind of walks behind you and just puts my hand on your back and just throws you in the water. I think you know the answer to this, Miss Steph. I do. I think you have explained beautifully what it looks like to be delivered from eating food out of a trash can to now saying I'm not anti-food and I would rather starve before I eat in a trash can. And you used to think that the trash can was the only source of you getting food until
because she was my mother.
Bingo. Until one day you realized that you could buy your own food. That's called validating yourself. That's called self-love. That's called loving yourself. When you realize you could actually feed yourself, going back to the trash can was never an option.
Just to end it, because I don't want to take too much time. I know there's other people waiting. I do want to say, and I'm going to try not to cry by saying this, your videos, your information has helped me tremendously on this journey that I'm on. And I thank you so much. Thank you to your kids, your family, for loaning us all of these times that you're on the lives. We appreciate you so much. And I'm excited for what 2025 has for you. And I'm going to continue to watch all the videos and support. And I can't wait to come to LA so I can support you and meet you.
I'm going to be there.
Thank you for everything. And happy Thanksgiving to you and everybody out there.
Same.
God bless you guys.
Same to you, Miss Steph. And just kind of mark your calendar. I probably shouldn't be saying this out loud. The lady coordinating the dates for me will probably kill me. February, March, April. But April, I think I will be in LA in April.
Okay, well, my birthday is in March, so that'll be a good treat to myself.
Very good. It is a pleasure. Thank you for your kindness, and kudos to you for the work you've done.
I appreciate you too, and you're a great contributor to where I am today, and thank you for that.
Oh, wow, that means so much to me. Y'all, let's give it up to Miss Steph. Thank you so much.
God bless. Bye, everybody. Love you guys.
Blessings to you. Wow, happy Thanksgiving. That was a great call. She knows it, y'all. She knows it. Like sometimes in this space, we just need a push to get in the water. And she knows it. She knows what it takes to get through this. And kudos to her. Just kudos to her for just doing it. And wow, thank you for the kind words at the end, Miss Stephanie, as well. All right. No, thank you all. It's just very kind for her to say what she says. I really appreciate this. Y'all, yeah, I will be, the plan is to be in LA March, April, because it's my third city on the 12 city tour. Hopefully they'll be coming in 2025. I will be ramping up really soon, reaching out for volunteers. I've got to put together several teams. I'm going to need to put together a primary team to help with selling tickets and getting the word out and marketing. And then I need to put together teams in each city, a team of volunteers that will probably come out of this small team that I want to form. And so A lot on my plate, y'all. I promise you a lot. DC is definitely on that list, Miss Michonne. I can't wait to meet you. And so I really appreciate your kindness. All right, E, are you there? Is that my client, E? Are you there? Yeah, that's my client. I'm going to bring you. Now, I shouldn't bring you on because me and you have some amazing conversations, but I'm going to bring you on. My friend E is one of my awesome clients. It is so good to see you, E. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing well. I
I'm,
thought I'd give it a try because I have an interesting thing happen to me this week, and I just thought
oh,
I maybe
no.
I can pop in really quick.
Oh,
Real
no. Well,
quick.
good. I'm glad you came in. Let's solve it real quick. What's going on, my friend?
Um, so everything was going good. And I happened to be in a relationship that I did not give much thought about. It's so funny. Stephanie was talking about rekindling with my mother, and this thing
Wow.
happened when I was rekindling with a broken relationship with my mother.
Wow.
My mother was a typical tiger mom,
Okay.
Asian tiger mom, but
Okay.
not in a helicopter way, more
Sure.
of a negligent way. She
Hmm.
would disappear and she would come back and be physically and emotionally abusive with everything that I am not.
Okay.
But I thought I made peace with that. She was mostly absent from all these years when I was married and I had a broken marriage. And suddenly, it was 2 years ago when I was ready to, when I left my ex-husband, she suddenly came back into my life, being supportive financially, emotionally, and she called me every week to make sure I'm okay. And that was good. It was kind of blessing in my life at the moment. And I even though I talk to her a lot, I still feel like sometimes I catch myself being that little anxious girl that I was and overshare and overexplain myself with
Yeah.
everything. But I catch myself and I make peace with it. And I thought I was doing good, but there's very interesting twist in this relationship is my
Okay.
mother want nothing to do with my kids.
Mm.
She would buy plane ticket for me, making sure that the kids are having visitation with dad so I can go visit her. But she do not want my kids to go visit her.
And
And she never come and visit my kids.
what's her reasoning for that, E?
So, and I thought over the years, when the kids was very little, uh, suddenly one time she visited. And you know how little kids, the word grandma is just a word,
Yeah.
grandparents are just a word
Yep.
when you have never spent time with them.
Hmm.
And the kids do is they hide. So when my parents came over, the kids hide, and I will have to say, oh, say hello to grandma, grandpa, and they say, hi, grandma, hi, grandpa, and then they ran away. And to me, that's completely normal. uh she was she was she was furious about it. She changed her ticket and left pretty quickly after that visit and told all the relatives that I I'm raising rude kids who don't even know how to interact with people, and they never call grandma grandpa. And I said, that's not true, I was there, I remember. He said, yeah, but after you told them to. So after that she rarely visit them. And she's okay with me talking about my kids,
Hmm.
share about my parenting, but she just don't want to anything to do with the kids. But this week we having conversation. I was telling her about how my Chinese friend was being typical Chinese, sign their kids up for 20 different extracurricular activity, and their kids always doing homework and dinner in the car on the way or on the way back from one class to another, and they and their parents don't even talk. And she told me that's how things are supposed to go. And she told me that me, unlike the other parents, are not doing what I'm supposed to do to set my kids up for success. I told her, well, both my kids do piano, and I actually sit down and practice with them. And I drove my kids to martial art. We do extracurricular, just not 20 of them. And I said, besides, I talk to my kids. We have family dinner. We ask about each other's day. And I read to them. I have never, not a single day that they spend night with me that I have not read to my kids. Both of them, we cuddle up and we read. And so I'm self-explaining myself to her. And this is where things went south. She literally had an emotional moment where she just outburst, well, good for you. What does that do for the kids? And look at this kid, my friend, she don't even read to her kids. She don't even cook for her kids. And look how wonderful her kids grow up to be so successful. And I went berserk. And I had emotional meltdown. And I had crazy mind for, the whole day. But I feel like that conversation has nothing to do with my kids.
Sure.
I, for some reason, cannot pinpoint it, but I feel like that's more about she and I. Because I feel like I have cut the clear line between she don't want to do with me parenting my kids. But I took so offensive with what she said. I almost bring back all the memory that how I was grown up.
Sure.
And it's justifying the way she parented me.
Yeah, I get exactly what you're saying, and kudos to you. There's a lot going on here. I know I'm privy to a lot of information that the public is not because we've spent some time with each other. I will say to you, there's a lot of things going on, and when you have a parent that is being dysfunctional, we have to be very honest about their dysfunction for sure. And we can't allow their dysfunction to cloud how we are showing up and know we are showing up. We know you're a good mom. And when I say we, I'm talking about you and I, and probably the people that are tuned in that just listen to the examples that you gave. We know you're a good mom. When you know what you know, then you can't let a dysfunctional person cause you to question what it is that you know that you know. That is in essence a layman's way of using the term gaslighting. You know how I am about terms. People use these terms and don't really understand them. They really don't. Narcissist, manipulator, blah, blah, blah. But this is a good example of gaslighting for sure. And the easiest way to explain gaslighting to you quickly before I get into something that I really want to just spend most of our time together on. The easiest way to talk about or to explain gaslighting is to imagine you walk in someone's home. No, someone walks in your home. Your mom walks in your home and you have a gas stove there. And that stove is not on. And you know it's not on because you didn't cut it on. You've looked at the stove, you've walked by it, you don't smell anything, and you know it's not on because you own it. But she walks in your house and says, your stove is on. And you're like, Mom, no, it's not. She's like, yes, it is. No, it's not. I'm telling you, E, your stove is on. After all of that back and forth, if you're not careful, when someone attempts to gaslight you, they will convince you that the stove is on when it's really not on because of their persistence through manipulation. Because you cannot be a manipulator and not be persistent at the same time. You cannot be it requires persistence to be a manipulator. And she has for years been very persistent at what? Being a manipulator. Manipulation requires persistence. You got to build a case and you have to build it over time. And that's what she's doing. She's trying to tell you that the gas light is on, that the gas stove is on, and you know it's not. I'm not a bad mom. I know I'm not a bad mom. I know I'm doing the right things. I know I'm being the right person. But over the years, it's the piling up of years of her saying to you, the stove is on, the stove is on, the stove is on, the stove is on. And it is that persistence that has taken the manipulation and drove it completely through your mindset and your emotions. Okay, so that's what's happening here. And the way we get out of that is simple. We pause and say, I know I didn't cut this stove on, i.e., I know I'm a good mother. I know I raised my kids well. How dare she tell me how to operate my stove when it's my stove? Okay, so I want you to keep that in mind. Here's the other thing that I want to say to you, and I think your example gives a really, first of all, did that make sense, E? Did that make sense?
Yes.
The other thing that I want to share with you is something that I think needs to be said out loud. And I appreciate you for being on tonight. Because I tell people that healing is the universal language of humanity. Healing is not your culture. I don't care what culture you're from. You be black, white, Asian, Chinese, Korean. I don't care what you are. Healing is the universal language of humanity. And you know what is true? Every culture has a tradition somewhere that involves some dysfunction. Now, I don't expect a lot of churches on this because this requires people to be very honest. But there is not a culture. Every single culture has at least one tradition that involves dysfunction. Which means, it ain't no perfect culture out here. I'm black. I'm proudly black. But what I'm also, as a proud black man, going to tell you, we got some dysfunction. See, I'm equal opportunity, and you know this. Right is right, wrong is wrong. And there ain't a culture out here, black, white, I don't care what you are, that ain't got some dysfunction in it. That's why your culture ain't the universal language of humanity. Your race ain't the universal language of humanity. Where you grew up and born, not the universal language of humanity. The universal language of humanity is healing. You know why? Because we share something in common. That's called pain. We also share other things in common, like dysfunction. So her not liking that you haven't done it, I think your words were the Chinese way, but you are giving your kids balance. Yes, they're involved in activities, but instead of them being in silence doing work, you're having conversations with your kid. What you're doing is doing something that bucks a part of your tradition that is dysfunctional. And when we do that, there's a price to pay. There's a price to pay, especially when you're connected to people in your culture who think their culture is greater than everything else. It's not. There are a lot of people in every culture that believe that. My culture is just that. It's this. It's perfect. You're a liar. You're a liar if you believe that. There ain't a culture alive that ain't got something wrong with it.
Is it meaningful to ponder? I don't think I sit there and I thought, what does she get from alienating, my kids? What does she get from attacking me? Does she want to? Is she defending herself? Is she defending the culture, or does she feel like I'm attacking her? What does she get from all this?
Hey, you can attempt to ask her that. You might get an answer. She's dysfunctional. I don't know. You might get an answer, but I'm going to tell you a better approach. Let's get out of this space of why and understanding. Let's get out of that space. Don't go down this bunny hole of why does she do it? Why is she thinking this way? Because why and needing to understand does nothing but create resistance.
Right.
You don't have to
That
understand.
I have a feeling you're gonna say that.
You've been around me, you know you don't have
Yes.
to understand dysfunction. You don't have to understand things in general. Why and needing to understand is almost always the groundwork for universal dysfunction. No, 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 no. That's her responsibility, my friend. You don't need to have an explanation as to why she's doing this. You don't need to have an explanation as to why she's not showing up right. Your job is to take care of you and those precious babies. That's it. That's it. Hey, Latin doll, that's it. Ain't no logic in dysfunction. It never has been. It never will be. So
Thank
no, we
you.
don't need to
Thank you,
understand.
Doc.
Yeah, no, my pleasure. You're such a sweetheart and a kind soul. I always tell you that. You and
Thank
I
you.
have had some wonderful revelations on calls with us, but I want you to really sit with what I said about culture. Because, sweetheart, when you're healing, sometimes you discover this is going to really make some people mad. Sometimes you discover there are challenges in your culture, there's challenges in your race, there's challenges in your family. There might even be challenges in your religion. That hurts a lot of people. That hurts a lot of people. God ain't flawed. A lot of religion is. And that's going to challenge some people. The point being, you come to terms to recognize that healing is the universal language of humanity. And as long as you keep that in mind, my friend, you're going to get through this just fine. Okay?
Thank you.
My pleasure, E. Hey, have a great Thanksgiving. I
You
hope you're getting
too.
some rest, and I can't wait till next time. Okay?
All right. Bye. Thank you.
Bye now. My pleasure. Let's give it up for my friend E, man. Oh my gosh, she's so. When I tell you, E is one of the sweetest clients I have. Just a sweet woman, just sweet, very thoughtful, very sincere. And I love working with E. She's just such a sweetheart. I was really shocked to see her on, so I knew something was wrong. She takes copious notes when we talk, and just so proud of her. Yeah, I know that thing hurt some of y'all, but I don't have a problem with God, not at all. But I do have a problem with the way a whole lot of people practice serving them. You better believe that. I have a problem with some ways that a whole lot of people practice serving them. Because a lot of this stuff that they calling God ain't God. Uh-oh.
Oh my
And y'all
God!
don't want me to go, no pun intended. Y'all don't want me to go down that road tonight. Y'all don't want that. That smoke y'all don't want. God has never been flawed, coach. He's never been flawed. God ain't flawed, but religion is. We got to be honest about that. That's why healing is the universal language of humanity. Listen, y'all, I'm done. I don't see nobody else in the waiting area. I'm going to wrap this up. All right. So real quick, real quick, let me just run down some things real fast so everybody knows. 5 Areas of Healing book. Grab it if you haven't already. Value System ebook. It was released last Thursday. Get that. My client calendar for new clients opens tomorrow, Thanksgiving Day, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Check the links on all my social media pages, or you can go right to my website, the products page. At 1 p.m. Eastern Time, it's going to be there. I'd highly recommend you get there early because these slots always fly off the shelf fast. All right, so that's tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And also tomorrow, my hat line, my beanie line is dropping tomorrow. Very excited about that. I did not have a lot of them created intentionally. One, I want to see how well they do. And two, I like to just keep these as exclusive as I can. So you're going to like that. And you're going to like the styles that I have. I got 3 different styles, or one size fits all. And I'm just excited. And I hope you all will support that. Happy Thanksgiving to all of you for tomorrow in advance. I hope by next Thursday, I'll have more information on the tour for 2025. Still working through this and trying to get the tour off the ground. So I'm hoping to have more information about that. Chicago is definitely on the list. I saw somebody put that up earlier and said they would volunteer. Chicago is definitely on the list for next year as well. And other cities. And so I'm hoping to have some more detail on that by next Thursday. And really excited about it. All right, y'all. I appreciate you. Happy Thanksgiving to you. Grief workshop. Yes. Thank you for reminding me, Coach. I do have some grief workshops still available in December. I've got 2 small group coaching sessions, 2 grief workshop sessions that are still available. They still have plenty of seats there. I think a lot of people are holding out trying to get individual seats and coaching sessions and packages for January. And so, but I do have seats for those sessions if you're interested in signing up. Those links are on my profile bio as well. All right. Yes, you heard Chicago. That's definitely on the list for next year. Happy Thanksgiving. I'm gone. Y'all have a good night. Praying for you, rooting for each of you. Have a tremendous holiday season. I hope everything goes well with you and your family and your loved ones. And y'all don't let the sentiment of tomorrow impact your healing journey in a negative way. You guys have a good day, okay? Rooting for you. I'll see you next Thursday. Peace and blessings. Set your alarms for tomorrow. We'll see you then. Bye now.